So it's happened. Melanated chahtas have now been recognized. You know, they try to classify some of us as freedmen. And whether you came from Choctaw or Chickasaw, your family still likely grew up or came from Choctaw or Chickasaw territories, whether you have paperwork or not. Personally, I have a lot of paperwork from my people because they went to Oklahoma. Those who went to Oklahoma got paperwork, but those who didn't go to Oklahoma don't have official paperwork, so to speak. Now, Chief Warhorse that I'm going to show you has paperwork from the treaties that they and us had with France, and I think no, Spain. The treaty we had with Spain. So there is paperwork, just not from the Dawes Commission, because the oldest tribal cards you're gonna find were established by the Dawes Commission, which is 1898. So you got to think, how were people identifying themselves or writing it down prior? Well, a lot of documents have been burned. Just to prove that, this is from census.gov. It talks about how in 1812, 1790, and 1800 that the British was going through burning documents, okay? They talked about how they just burned the census forms, but they really burned, if they burnt those, they burned more. You feel me? So that's why my people have cards, because they kept that paperwork around. My people were born in Shaquillak, one of my people, Shaquillak, Mississippi, which is right there in the Chickasaw territory, Choctaw territory. Another one of my people was in Holly Springs, which is also within that territory. So even if your people don't have paperwork, now on the Choctaw website, it actually says that some 4,000 Choctaws decided not to leave the Mississippi or the lands, period, Mississippi, Alabama, that whole area. They decided not to leave, besides those that went to Oklahoma. So again, that's why I got tribal cards out the frame, and land and other things in my history, and some of you all may not. You chose to stay, and they didn't give you paperwork. That, I believe, has been some of the problem with Chief Warhorse and the Chahtas, is with that, because they decided to stay on their land and not get forced away from it or coerced or talked into it, then they've had a problem of being federally recognized. What happened was the tribe is called the Chahta, Chahta, not Choctaw. That name came about after a while when the white tea people started to come in and, put that in there. But let's listen to how today they're starting to get recognized, because they did have paperwork. They may not have had Dawes Commission's paperwork, but they had a treaty between them and the Spaniards that were there at the time. And the implications of this means that my so-called freedmen Choctaw people were real Choctaw people, Chahta people, who were later placed on the rolls based upon lookership as freedmen in order to muddy up the status of their indigenous status. But if today Mr. Pushmataha, which is the one that is related to Chief Warhorse down there in Bonfacad, St. Tammany Parish, if that is her ancestor who she's talking about, and the Chahtas are the original name of the Choctaws, as you see on their website. They're saying they're living out the Choctaw spirit of faith. If that's the original name, then these are the original people, not freedmen, or I should say, not African slaves brought in to be slaves to these people. You know what I mean?
Playing what I was saying. Let people be who they are, and they can grow stronger. Let's give to this younger generation their identities. I had a chance last year, haven't done nothing. I got so much coming at me. But the state of Louisiana do understand that our people was intentionally misclassified.
That's right. That's right.
And see, I can say Neon Drake did it.
And what he did, and proclaim this day in his honor.
Yes.
So every time I pause, I need y'all to say whereas.
Yes.
All right? So I'll start us off. Whereas what is now St. Tammany Parish is home to the descendants of the Muskegon-speaking mound builders, the Chatta and the Chafunk, also known as the Chatta Creek. And
whereas
the Chatta encountered Europeans from Spain, France, Britain, and others, beginning in the 1500s, and formed mixed alliances during conflicts between those nations, and is in what has been named French Louisiana, Spanish Florida, British West Florida, and now the United States. And
whereas
in 1732, a French surveyor named Regis du Roulet mapped their villages and refers to the head of the Chatta Nation at Bonfouca. And
whereas
St. Tammany is one of 8 parishes east of the Mississippi River that were not part of the Louisiana Purchase and are still referred to as the West Florida parishes. And
whereas
historic Bonfouca is an ancient place in St. Tammany Parish where the Chatta have continually lived and are protected under Article 14 of the Dancing Rabbit Treaty. And
whereas
Major General Andrew Jackson called upon Captain Pierre Juzan to assemble a fighting group of Chatta warriors who helped win the Battle of New Orleans in 1815. Captain Juzan led a regiment of more than 200 Chatta in the Battle of New Orleans in strategic maneuvers that brought about the defeat of the British and expansion of the United States.
This isn't just any guy, this is the mayor.
So we budgeted special funds for this year, 2025, to develop this park and to renovate and correctly name the trading post that is here.
yes
So it is a good start. The next thing we need to do is work on the name, and we're gonna also work on modifying and intensifying the presence of the name Bonfouca in this area.
yes
Especially since I'm now the mayor.
yes
Naomi Drake was still in power, who learned from Walter Plucker. I even got index on Walter Plucker. I was studying about Walter Plucker before there was an internet.
that's right
What made me learn about Walter Plucker? Because I knew about Naomi Drake and her case with the federal courts that was lost. And the identity of the people were found in archives who race she, misidentified. So we have the door open and have had it open for people who can prove, like we did,
That's
we
right.
didn't got our papers straight. So if you're in the box, it's called a black box in Louisiana, and literally the box is black, but its box is.
yes ma'am
Let's not walk away thinking everybody of color is African American. I have no African lineage.
that's right yes
But I do have that one drop French, which was a black European, Nicholas Ducree. Why did I get there? Nicholas Ducree was able to come here from France, occupy the trading post, and do business. And this once was the head of France for him. So there were two histories laughing. That's why the paper said what's going on. And I think the reason we didn't go to Oklahoma them is because we came from the wrong family. We was the connection to the land.
yes
So they had to keep us
yes
to keep peace.
yes ma'am
Y'all understand what I'm saying?
yes ma'am
So we are a unique case, but take my word, we have suffered. Her grandfather was one of the first marshals out of the Indian tribe. They killed him. Yeah. So if we try to rise up, Arthur, you get pushed back down. But I'm telling you, I've witnessed in this last year working with Arthur, or should I say right at 2 years, the racism is going minimal. Y'all hear what I'm saying?
yes
You
ma'am
know why? Education of truth is coming up.
that's right
So I want y'all to leave here to understand today this is about unity and healing. This is not about the tribe is greater or lesser than.
It's about the truth. And as you can see, the truth is coming out, and they're gonna stop playing.